Shalom traders, this is Melik Shalama of Melik Shalama Capital LLC. Today is the 26th of June 2026. It's 12:11 p.m. Eastern Time. And right now I'm in a live trade on ES. It's a Black Sun strategy. We have our Upthrust here. We have our Buying Climax. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So we have the Buying Climax here. We have an automatic reaction level here. We have a sign of weakness. We have a test. Sell entry is here on the sell delta trigger. Let's see how many contracts that is. All right, so that's 375 contracts. All right, we have sellers taking control. We had a little buyer right here, 50 contracts, tried to kind of prop up price a little bit. That failed. Sellers took control. We have a little consolidation here. This is the developing POC market profile. We came down to the central pivot level. We already got one partial here at 74.35.25. We're going for the second partial here at ETH open. Yesterday's value area low. That's the full session value area low. Yesterday's VWAP as well. And the IB VPOC, that's actually probably a little lower here. So don't mind that right now. So let's go into a little more detail. We're running into a bid here at the yesterday's value area low. Full session, full take profit. The 20-point take profit would be actually at yesterday's settlement at 74.23. All right, so we have some buyers. Sellers are getting absorbed here. We have no sellers down at this bid right here. Sellers getting absorbed. Buyers retracing. My trailing stop is at 74.37.75, just above the central pivot. All right, let's open that up. Looking at the VPI, we're still in selling territory, but we crossed the threshold here where you get kind of like a reversal. So when we cross the threshold, I labeled that, I put the color as green. So you could see there's a potential for reversals. Right, sellers are still dominant. We have an iceberg buyer right there. That was 45 iceberg buyers. You see the TPO POC is moving down to 74.31.25, in line with around ETH open, yesterday's value area low. All right, so we're getting absorbed here again. Sellers are getting absorbed. And in these kind of situations, this is where I could manually stop out, right? Because we're running into heavy liquidity. We're running into yesterday's value area low. I could override the trailing stop and stop out manually. But just for the sake of the video, I'll just let it, excuse me, I'll just let it play out. All right, so selling absorption again. No sellers down here. We have buyers taking control. and probably gonna get stopped out. All right, so trailing stop did its job. We have this was the indication of the reversal here. We didn't have sellers stepping back on the gas, right? More absorption. Trailing stop did its job. As you can see within the ES, when my trailing stop works kind of within the ES volatility, right? Within its structure. So if this is the base, this is the high, and we start consolidating and you break out of the top of the range, that's when I get stopped out. So a lot of these ranges get created within a 6-point range, right? So when you break out of the high of the range, 6-point trailing stop does its job, right? All right, so that's my live trade Black Sun strategy. And yeah, it's Friday today, so I'm gonna continue working on my spreadsheet with my AI Debarium. That's my quant. I kind of name certain positions in my company within AI, right? So I developed my company within AI, and it has different heads of departments, right? So that's how I created my stuff. There's a head of marketing, there's a head coach on the trading desk, which I use like intraday. There's the barium, that's the quant, which does like spreadsheets and kind of algorithmic calculations and just anything to do with like real specific calculations. I've designated him as the quant basically, so he's helping me to create my spreadsheet and do certain things. What else am I working on this weekend? Yeah, I think that's it. So I'll be journaling, going over my trades, watching my trade recap videos, and this is basically for me, right? Like I go over my trade recap videos all the time. I suggest that you record your videos. You don't have to post them on YouTube, but record your trades and go over them. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend, and just preparing for next week. All right, you all. So trade safe. You all enjoy your weekend, and shalom.